Has the future already happened? A seemingly impossible question, but one that has a surprising answer when we dive into the discoveries of the greatest psychiatrist of the 20th century. Have you ever thought of someone out of nowhere and seconds later that person calls you? Or had that strange feeling that you've lived a moment exactly the same way before? Or perhaps woken up with the inexplicable certainty that something important would happen that day? It's not just you. We've all experienced these small synchronicities that seem to defy time itself. Most people call them coincidences or, at most, intuition. But what if I told you that, for Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers in the history of psychology, these experiences are much more than chance? They are evidence of something revolutionary. Time doesn't work as we were taught in school. In this video, I'll reveal the temporal paradox that Jung discovered and that modern science is only beginning to understand. Together, we'll answer the question that defies physics itself. Has the future already happened? Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications, because what you'll discover in the next few minutes can literally transform how you perceive your own life. Also, if you are here today, it is not by chance, and believe me, your unconscious already knew you would find these answers today, and I guarantee you, after understanding this concept, you will never see your intuitions, your déjà vus, and these strange coincidences the same way again. The revelation about your mind. To unravel this mystery, we need to start by exploring the most enigmatic territory there is, your own mind. Jung, after decades of studying human behavior and thousands of clinical cases, came to a revolutionary conclusion that forever changed psychology. The unconscious is timeless. Think about this. Your conscious mind, the one listening to me now, lives trapped by the clock. It knows that today is Thursday, that you have commitments later, that yesterday that important meeting happened. But inside you there exists another mind. A much older and more powerful mind, which operates according to completely different rules. For your unconscious, there is no yesterday or tomorrow. There is no once upon a time or one day will be. Everything is happening now, simultaneously, like an infinite ocean where all drops exist at the same time. That's why your dreams are so strange and wonderful. In a dream, you can be a child and an adult at the same time. You can meet people who have already died talking with people you haven't even met yet. Your first love can appear in the apartment where you live today, even though you were never there together in reality. This is not an error of your mind. It's the true nature of your unconscious revealing itself. Dreams and premonitions, bugs in the matrix, or messages. Mentally raise your hand if this has happened to you. Waking up from a dream so real, so vivid, that it seemed more like a memory than a dream. And then, days or weeks later, witnessing something happening exactly as you dreamed it. You're not alone. In a survey of more than 10,000 people around the world, 67% reported having experienced at least one premonitory dream. Skeptics call this statistical coincidence. Traditional neuroscience suggests it's just your brain manufacturing false memories. But Jung, after documenting hundreds of these cases, came to a very different and much more fascinating conclusion. This is not a bug in the matrix. It's a fundamental feature of your psyche. When you have a premonitory dream or a powerful intuition about something that hasn't happened yet, your conscious mind isn't predicting the future. Your unconscious is simply accessing a field of information where the concept of hasn't happened yet simply doesn't exist. It's as if, for a brief moment, you were seeing through the cracks of time, a window to the timelessness that has always been within you. But if the unconscious is timeless, how does this manifest in the real world, in our everyday lives? This is where Jung's most revolutionary concept comes in, something that will completely change how you see coincidences in your life. Now that we understand that the unconscious is timeless, let's go to the next level. How does this timelessness escape your mind and manifest in the real, tangible world that we all share? This is where Jung's most revolutionary concept comes in, something that literally blew the minds of scientists, physicists, and philosophers when it was presented. And I am absolutely certain that you have already experienced this many times in your life. I'll tell you a true story. In 1949, Jung was seeing a patient who had recurring dreams about golden scarab beetles. During a particularly intense session, while she was relating one of these dreams, something incredible happened. Jung heard a noise at the window of his office. When he opened it, he found a golden scarab beetle, extremely rare in that region, trying to get in. What would you call this? Coincidence? Luck? Chance? Jung called it synchronicity. And I'm sure you've experienced something like this. You know when you're thinking about a specific song and you turn on the radio and that exact song is playing? Or when you think of a friend you haven't seen in years and, out of nowhere, you receive a message from them minutes later? This isn't luck. It's not coincidence. It's synchronicity. Jung defines it as a meaningful coincidence. Two events without causal connection that happen together and carry a profound meaning for the person experiencing them. Most impressively, Jung wasn't content just to observe these phenomena. He meticulously documented them over decades, creating one of the largest catalogs of synchronicities ever recorded. And the pattern he discovered was revealing. These experiences tend to occur in moments of great psychological transformation, when we are going through crises, important transitions, or profound insights. It's as if, in moments when our psyche is most open and vulnerable, the boundaries between the inner and outer worlds become more permeable. Synchronicities would then be a kind of confirmation from the universe that we are on the right path of personal growth. And the most fascinating thing? According to Jung's studies, the more you recognize these synchronicities, the more they tend to appear in your life. It's as if the universe responds to your attention. Synchronicity is so revolutionary because it challenges the most fundamental basis of modern science, the relationship of cause and effect. When you think of someone and that person calls you shortly after, most people assume that your thoughts somehow caused the call, or that it's just a meaningless coincidence. But Jung proposes something much deeper. The two events have no causal relationship. They happen simultaneously because, at that specific moment, the universe of meanings, which exists outside of linear time, aligned with your inner state. In other words, time didn't move forward, from cause to effect. It folded at a point of meaning, revealing a connection that always existed in the timeless field. The most radical aspect of synchronicity theory is that it suggests that physical reality and psychic reality are, in fact, two sides of the same coin. Jung called this unus mundus, the underlying one world, where matter and psyche originate from the same timeless substrate. This means that your thoughts, dreams, and emotional states are not isolated inside your head. They exist in a shared field that can, at certain moments, align with events in the physical world. Not by chance. When Jung developed this theory, he was in constant dialogue with some of the greatest physicists of his time, including Wolfgang Pauli, pioneer of quantum physics and Nobel Prize winner. Pauli was so fascinated by Jung's ideas that the two worked together for more than 20 years, exploring the connections between synchronicity and quantum phenomena that also seem to defy classical causality. Quantum physics has already demonstrated phenomena such as quantum entanglement, where two particles, regardless of the distance separating them, seem to know instantly the state of each other. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. Wouldn't synchronicity be a manifestation of this same principle on a human scale? It's as if, for a brief moment, the veil separating the physical world from the world of meanings became transparent, allowing you to glimpse the true interconnected nature of reality. Think about the moments in your life when you had a thought and soon after, something in the external world seemed to respond to that thought. It wasn't your thought that caused the event, nor the event that caused your thought. It was the meaning that connected the two, transcending linear time. And now I want to know from you, what was the most impressive synchronicity you've ever experienced? That moment when you were absolutely certain it couldn't be just coincidence? Leave your story in the comments, because believe me, sharing these experiences expands our collective understanding of this mysterious phenomenon. While you think about that, let's move on to understand why these synchronicities happen. And the answer lies in one of Jung's most profound concepts: archetypes, humanity's source code that exists outside of time. So far, we've seen that the unconscious is timeless, and that synchronicity connects our inner world with the outer through meaningful coincidences. But a crucial question remains. What generates these connections? What causes these folds in the fabric of time? To answer this, Jung led us to one of his most profound discoveries: something so vast and powerful that he called it the collective unconscious. Within it, we find humanity's true source code, the archetypes. The hero, the sage, the mother, characters who live outside of time. Think about this. Why do cultures that never had contact with each other tell stories with the same basic characters? Why? From ancient Greece to the indigenous tribes of the Amazon, from Nordic legends to African tales, do we always find the hero, the mentor, the mother figure, the trickster, the wise elder? The conventional answer would be coincidence or similar narrative needs. But Jung proposed something much deeper and more radical. Archetypes are not cultural inventions that spread. They are primordial patterns that exist in the collective unconscious, a layer of the psyche that we all share, regardless of our culture, era, or geographical location. It's as if all of humanity were running the same psychic operating system, with the same basic apps pre-installed. Think of archetypes as the main characters of all stories ever told, and all those yet to be told. The hero who faces impossible challenges, the mother who nurtures and protects, the sage who guards ancestral knowledge, the trickster who breaks rules and brings creative chaos. These patterns weren't invented by Shakespeare, nor by Hollywood, nor by ancient storytellers. They have always existed within humanity's collective unconscious, and most importantly, they are timeless. They don't belong to the past, present, or future. They exist in a dimension where linear time simply doesn't apply. Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, Frodo Baggins, Hercules, Buddha, Jesus, all are manifestations of the same heroic archetype, crossing different times and cultures, but maintaining the same timeless essence. And this universality isn't just theoretical. Jung and his followers found the same archetypal symbols and patterns in the dreams of people from completely different cultures. Children who have never heard of dragons dream of serpentine creatures guarding treasures. People with no knowledge of mythology dream of figures identical to ancient gods. How can we explain this if not by the existence of a collective unconscious that transcends individual time and space? Now here's the truly revolutionary part. You don't just recognize these archetypes in the stories you consume, you live them. When you watch a movie and are deeply moved by the hero's journey, it's not just because the story is well told, it's because that archetypal pattern is resonating with something that already exists within you. When you face a seemingly impossible challenge and find courage you didn't know you had, it's not just adrenaline or personal determination. According to Jung, you are activating the hero archetype within yourself, an eternal pattern that exists in the collective unconscious. When a mother, even without previous experience, instinctively knows how to comfort her baby, she is accessing the great mother archetype, knowledge that transcends individual learning. In the most intense moments of your life, when you fall in love, face a crisis, have a spiritual revelation, or make a decision that changes your destiny, you are not just living an isolated personal experience. You are connecting with archetypal patterns that exist outside of time. It's as if, in these moments, you could access a timeless field of information, the same field that makes synchronicities possible. Jung observed a fascinating phenomenon in his patients. When someone was going through a profound personal transformation, what he called the individuation process, this person's dreams would begin to show powerful archetypal symbols. And not only that, the person's life would begin to reorganize around this process, with external synchronistic events supporting the internal journey. A woman in the process of reconciliation with her masculine side, the animus archetype, would suddenly receive leadership opportunities at work. A man working to integrate his feminine side, the anima, would find, as if by chance, a partner who helped him in this process. And here's the crucial point. When you are in strong connection with an archetype, synchronicities tend to increase dramatically in your life. It's as if the archetype, by existing outside of time, could bend reality around you, attracting events that have the same symbolic meaning. A person in a full heroic journey, for example, tends to find coincidences that help on the path, unexpected encounters with mentors, discoveries of resources at the exact moment they are needed, insights that seem to come from nowhere. Jung documented hundreds of these cases where people, upon entering deep connection with an archetype, experienced an avalanche of meaningful synchronicities, as if the universe conspired in favor of those who are aligned with these eternal patterns. In his famous book Synchronicity, he reports the case of a patient who was working to integrate the self archetype, the organizing center of the psyche. During this period, she reported more than 20 impressive synchronicities in just 2 weeks, from unexpected encounters with key people to discoveries of symbolic objects that had appeared in her dreams. What does this suggest? That archetypes are not just internal psychological patterns. They have the power to reorganize reality itself around you, creating bridges between the inner and outer worlds, bending the fabric of time to create moments of deep meaning. But if archetypes are timeless and can bend time through synchronicities, we finally arrive at the great paradox that Jung discovered. The great paradox, Jung's final answer. We've reached the culminating point of our journey. It's time to connect all the dots and reveal the great paradox that Jung discovered after decades of research. If the unconscious is timeless, if synchronicity demonstrates that internal and external events can connect beyond causality, and if archetypes are eternal patterns that shape both our psyche and reality, then we are forced to consider a conclusion that challenges everything we thought we knew about the nature of time and reality. What I'm going to say now might sound like science fiction, but it is grounded in decades of clinical observation and thousands of documented cases. Your conscious mind, the one that plans tomorrow, remembers the past, and lives anxiously in the future. That mind lives in the prison of the clock. It is chained to the illusion of linear time. But your total psyche, including your personal unconscious and your connection to the collective unconscious, it is completely free from this temporal prison. For your deep psyche, past, present, and future are not separate points on a line. They are interconnected rooms of the same house, and you can freely walk between them. That's why dreams can contain elements of your past mixed with symbols of your future. That's why intuitions can predict events that haven't happened yet. There is no prediction. There is only access to a dimension where time doesn't flow linearly. Think about how sometimes you have that strange feeling of already knowing what will happen, or how certain decisions seem inevitable, as if you were just remembering a path you already know. And here is the most shocking revelation of Jung's theory. That intuition of yours about the future, that inexplicable certainty that something will happen. For Jung, this isn't you predicting the future. It's not a paranormal or magical ability. It's much more extraordinary. It's your consciousness finally receiving and recognizing information that already existed in the timeless plane of your psyche. The future is not something that will come to be. At a certain level of reality, the archetypal, timeless level, the future already is. It already exists, just like the past and present, in a dimension where time is an illusion. When you have a strong intuition about something that will happen, it's not that you're seeing ahead. It's that your consciousness is finally perceiving something that, in the timeless field, was always there. As Jung wrote in his private diaries, future and past are in the unconscious, everything as now. For the unconscious, we are always in the center of a temporal circle, never on a line. This means that, in a sense, the future has already happened. Not on the plane of physical reality, where time seems to flow linearly, but on the deep psychic plane, where archetypes and meanings exist in an eternal present. And each synchronicity, each premonitory dream, each powerful intuition is a small crack in the illusion of linear time, allowing you to glimpse the true timeless nature of reality. So after all, has the future already happened? For common logic, no. For modern physics, perhaps, since Einstein showed us that time is relative and quantum mechanics suggests simultaneous realities. But for the deep experience of your psyche, the answer is symbolic and paradoxical. Time is not a straight road that we follow from past to future. Think of it as a curved mirror. A mirror that simultaneously distorts and reflects what is behind you, the past, and what is beside you, the future, in the same complex image that you call present. Your dreams, your powerful intuitions, those moments of déjà vu, the meaningful synchronicities that seem to guide your path, all are reflections in this curved mirror of time, moments when you can see beyond the illusion of linearity. The next time you have a powerful intuition about something that hasn't happened yet, don't dismiss it as imagination or coincidence. Smile. You may just be looking at the reflection of something that, somewhere in your timeless soul, has already happened. As Jung said in his later years, the unlived life is a disease from which one can die. Perhaps it's because, at some deep level, that life already exists, waiting for you to recognize it in the curved mirror of time. And now I want to hear from you. Did this idea blow your mind as it blew mine when I discovered it? What was the most powerful synchronicity you've ever experienced? That moment when you felt the mirror of time curving around you. Share your story in the comments. Let's create together a library of experiences that go beyond linear time. Who knows if your account won't deeply resonate with someone else's experience, creating a new synchronicity right here, in this space. If you love diving deep into the mysteries of mind and philosophy like I do, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Our journeys through the labyrinths of consciousness are just beginning, and I have many more fascinating paradoxes to share with you. And if you know someone who constantly has inexplicable intuitions, who dreams of future events, or who simply loves questioning the nature of reality, share this video with that person. You may be providing them with an important key to understanding experiences that, until now, seemed impossible to explain. See you in the next video. Or perhaps, as Jung would say, we've already met there, in the eternal now.